And all the brothers and sisters said, "Amen."
I love that you think we're going to punch him in the mouth.
Fingers crossed, right?
And I ain't butt chugging anything.
We got to do some content here.
In the Venn diagram of fucked up, I'm not sure where that fits, but I'm pretty sure I hit the nail right on the head there.
Works well under close Nick Saban adult supervision.
Randy Sanders has the team dialed in. They are ready to go.
How many bananas do you want out of me?
Don't know. I kind of want to give Vanderbilt some love here.
I love those head games at the two.
You got to weigh all your options.
It's so much fun.
Nobody wants to go Lane Kiffin here? I might go Lane Kiffin here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is a new episode of Liquor and Leagues. The boys are back. Week 12 is behind us. Week 13 is ahead. The last week of the season. Last week, gentlemen, let me say it again. Last week of college football season. This is painful. It's horrible. It sucks. I know. But this is it. We have run our course. 13 weeks are about to be in the books here shortly, and then we're moving to bowl season in the national championship game, and we can just lock up another SEC football season.
And conference championships.
The two. Yep. Can I do my intro, please? Thanks.
So here,
balls. This ball season. So we are here. The four horsemen are in the house. We are talking about week 13 of SEC football. I'm sorry, week 12, and then we are making our picks for the final week. Gentlemen, how's everybody doing?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, you are.
After yesterday, though.
Walking on sunshine.
That's right. That's it. It was a good week. It was an interesting week of football. All across football, not just in the SEC, all across football. But let's go ahead and jump into our games. We're going to run down the list real quick, and then we can talk about, whatever floats your boat. South Carolina stomping the shit out of Tennessee, if that's your thing. Maybe it's Florida getting vandalized. I had to throw it in there. Vandalized. Okay. So let's go ahead. Alabama versus Austin, PA. Alabama, 34-0. That's what we expected, It's Alabama being Alabama, and it's Austin, PA being them.
It's somebody picking up a paycheck.
It is. Western Kentucky going into Auburn. 41-17. Auburn wins pretty handily. I saw them keeping it close early on, but then Auburn just kind of walked away. No surprise there. Georgia, Kentucky. Georgia coming off a beating by Vanderbilt. They were 24th in the nation, going up against Georgia. Georgia comes into Kroger Field, 16-6. I didn't see this game. Did anybody see this game? Because I could not find it on TV at all. I was CBS. I could not find it. Okay, not an impressive win at 16-6. I don't know. It is a win. It is a win. I'm not saying that.
Wins impressive?
No, absolutely not. Some wins are losses. I heard it said some wins are losses and some losses feel like wins. Grinch, you made a comment in text. I think it was another. I know you love Gary Danielson, but it was another thing. Gary, he can eat a bag of dicks. Did something get said? Did something happen? Did I miss something? Or is that honestly, you being you?
It's just me not liking him. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room and sees shit that like nobody else sees, and we're all like, "Yeah, Gary, we're like looking at it just like you, jackass."
If he's the only guy in the room, then he is the smartest person in the room.
Have you tried watching the games with the
on mute?
Off? Yeah, I think that might help you nowadays.
Exactly.
Or go to SAP, learn Spanish while you're watching the game.
It's Telemundo. But Georgia did win, so they are going to be looking at an undefeated season, the only SEC team with an undefeated season. So kudos to you.
Back to back,
just a minute.
Undefeated in the SEC.
Yeah,
undefeated in the SEC. They still got to play the powerhouse in Georgia Tech.
Yeah, who upset UNC
yesterday?
And their quadruple option.
That's right.
Okay, or quintuple option. I don't even know what they run anymore, and I don't care. UAB at LSU. They go into Death Valley. LSU wins 41-10. No shock there. MAC, Eastern Tennessee State, man. They did not show up for this one. Clearly, Randy Sanders is no longer there. So,
show up for this one.
Struggling. 56-7. Mississippi State put a hurting on them. New Mexico State walking into Columbia, Missouri. They take a beating at 45-14. UMass at Texas A&M Kyle Field. I saw the text.
Were there more UMass fans in the stands than there were
That's
Texas
what it
A&M
looked
fans,
like.
maybe? I don't know.
The 12th man just said, "Fuck you, Texas. We're not showing up today." Clearly,
they were in queue for Taylor Swift tickets, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's accurate, but I saw somewhere that they announced 90,000 were present to begin
in the state of Texas.
Are you calling bullshit?
I don't know.
90,000 were on the campus.
I don't know when that picture was taken or the video
that got sent out, right?
I just either way, it's pathetic. And I know the weather sucked. And
I mean, Vanderbilt probably had more people at their stadium than that.
And
Probably.
rightly so. Jesus. Texas A&M does win 20-3 against UMass. Not an impressive win either. And whether or not that stadium was empty or not, it definitely speaks to the woes that Texas A&M is currently having. So
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do
Top
about
recruiting
that.
class, great coach.
Oh,
what the fuck, man?
Great.
You don't think Jim Over? I mean, he's at least a good coach.
He's a serviceable coach. I'll give him that. Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, he's going to service you all right.
So then let's just jump into the other games. Florida Vanderbilt. We'll start here. Mac, did you watch this game?
I did not. No,
you did not. Well, you're better for it, my friend.
No, I think I am. 2013 was the last time we played Vanderbilt and lost to them.
And you and I were at that game.
Yeah,
it was painful to watch.
And I imagine this one was just as painful. But you know what? At the end of the day, we said this from the beginning, right? And I've already started reading the articles about, Billy Napier's not the right guy, this, that, he should be fine. I'm like, fuck off, people. It's one season.
Right.
But this is the problem we've discussed with college football. It's a win now mentality. Now, don't get me wrong. Haas said it, right? Clearly, when you're losing to Vanderbilt, you're in a rebuilding year. But, I mean, Vanderbilt's maybe a little bit better than we thought they were. I mean,
they aren't who we thought they were.
That's right. They are not who we thought they were.
They potentially could be bowl eligible.
Yeah.
And it makes next week, and we'll get to that, but it makes next week's pick a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not. Am I surprised?
Yes.
No.
Yes, you
I'm not.
are.
No,
I
not.
am.
I'm really not.
You're not surprised they lost, or you're not surprised
not
in this loss, or
lost.
that the season's been a struggle?
Both. I'm not surprised in this loss. They did not use Anthony Richardson in the way they've used him in the past. From reading what some of the stats and stuff, he did not run. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you need to kind of rein him in a little bit, or you're going to end up getting him hurt. And maybe that's the thought process. They said, let's pull back a little bit. And clearly it didn't work. So they need to retool the play calling. And I think that maybe is one thing that I will agree with on a lot of the things I've read, that Napier is not a good play caller, and they need to bring in somebody that can be like the offensive coordinator and start calling plays that has a better grasp on that job, because I don't know that that's his forte.
Okay, well then let me ask you this, Mac. Time of possession, Vandy won that 33 minutes to 26 minutes, but Florida had 445 yards of offense against 283. You know what I'm saying? Like they both had
is there
equal,
a question there?
2 for 2,
lost.
both 2 for 2 on turnovers. Well, you're saying Anthony Richardson, he may not have run.
He did not run like he did,
but
right?
he threw for 400 fucking yards.
Well, he threw 42 times.
Well, yes, and I think he was 25 for 42 or 25 for 43, something like that.
25 for 42.
Yeah,
400 yards.
A three of 4 on fourth down efficiency. They're better efficiency than they had on third down, 4 for 15. I guess I would agree, Mac. I'm not saying he's not the guy. I think his play calling is still questionable.
Yeah, by any stretch of the imagination. I think you have to give him more time.
Yeah, and again, if you didn't see the game, Vanderbilt is in control at the end with like 58 seconds. They kick off or they punt. Florida stops them. They punt to Florida. For some fucking reason, and I don't know who was in the backfield, does not field the ball. Mistake number 1. He didn't field the ball, so the ball bounces all the way down to the 9-yard line. And so they're starting from their own 9 with at that point, because, the ball's bouncing around, and while the ball's rolling the fuck around, nobody's touching it. The clock's still running. Fucking 8 seconds ran off the clock. Yeah. So they're starting on their own 9-yard line with 47 seconds. The first 2 plays just get blown up. He tries to throw, it doesn't work. And they start moving the ball downfield in big chunks, thankfully. And he throws one to the out, and the guy catches it, goes down in bounds. And it was he was a yard from the out of bounds, but he had to dive to get it. He should have just let it hit the ground, but he dove to get it. The ball, there was just no time to get up and clock the ball because he caught it and didn't get out of bounds. Like there was just like, why? And even the commentator's like, why did you throw it there? Why did you short throw it? You forced the guy to come back and dive for it. And again, I know some of that falls to the quarterback making the right call, going through his progressions and stuff like that. It was just there was some play calling where I was like, what? I'm like, still, I mean, that's one of the things.
That has been a problem all year, I think.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I say, I think they maybe need to bring in somebody that can take that responsibility off of his shoulders.
And
let him lead the team. It has to be the right person. Yeah.
Right.
Don't bring in Charlie Weiss. Fuck that shit. Let him lead the team. Let him recruit. But let somebody else be your play caller.
Right. Yeah. So it was a painful game to watch. Kudos to Vanderbilt. They lost, Mac, as you said. Vandy went into the swamp, beat them back in like 2012, 2013. It was the first time they'd won at Florida since 1965. Now they beat Florida at home, the first time they've beaten Florida at home since like 1987 or something like that, I think they said. So, been a minute, but they got the win. Kudos to them. Potential bowl eligible at the end of the season. We'll see how that plays out. All right, let's move on. Ole Miss at Arkansas. Here we go.
Fucking Arkansas.
Ole Miss rolls into Razorback Stadium. All of you went Ole Miss. I said, I'm going to Arkansas. It paid dividends for me earlier in the season, and Arkansas just came out and punched him in the fucking mouth. I think it was like 21-0 or something like that before you could blink. And I was like, holy shit. All right. Arkansas, like Kentucky, has been wildly inconsistent this year. And it's just like,
I mean, come on, you can say it. Arkansas, Kentucky, South Carolina, Florida. I mean, all of those teams have been wildly inconsistent. I mean, I guess maybe you could even say Ole Miss to some degree, Auburn to some degree. I mean, like.
Well, I'm not going to take anything away from your boys, but Tennessee was inconsistent as shit yesterday.
Yeah, but that was one game.
No, they were pretty consistently bad.
Okay.
But not the way they've been. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not what they've been playing. It was just a surprise. But yeah, Ole Miss takes a beating by Arkansas. So, I got the win there, it was the one game we went differently on, the one I took a chance on, and it paid off. So I'll take it. And then finally, Haas, I'm going to give you credit where credit's due and let you talk about your boys from South Carolina taking on a 9-1 Tennessee, ranked number 5 in the country, second in the SEC East.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I mean, it's not, and that's the thing, is it's not that they won. I mean, they could do that. I mean, there's several times they've beaten Alabama and they've kind of like knocked someone down a couple pegs. So it's not like, especially if they're playing at Williams-Brice, it's not unfathomable that they can do that, right? What I think is interesting is the fashion in which they did it after losing to Mizzou. Like they took out Kentucky, they took out Texas A&M, and then they shit the bed against Mizzou, and then you kind of think, okay, well maybe they're not quite there yet. And then they come out and they play the way they did yesterday, all 3 phases humming. And it's like, okay, and I saw, like, I didn't get to see, I got to see certain plays, not the whole game. But you look at Spencer Rattler's freaking, his statistics, like, where the fuck has this been all season? God damn it. The play calling from Satterfield, where the fuck has this been all goddamn season? Like, it just blows my mind. It's like, imagine, guys, if you guys had dialed this shit in fucking weeks ago, where you'd be. And then, of course, I'm texting with Mr. Robinson today, and we're both like, yeah, they'll shit the bed against Clemson. Like, because as a South Carolina fan, that's how you feel. I mean, Grinch, I think you're the one that sent out that text, the meme, and it's like, yeah, that's, as a South Carolina fan, that's exactly what you expect to happen. They beat the teams they shouldn't, lose to the teams they shouldn't. And you just, as a South Carolina fan, you just never know what to expect. Like, you show up with bated breath and a good buzz on it and hope that buzz carries you through the next day.
Well, I also want to say, I know you mentioned it. You said they beat Kentucky, they beat Texas A&M, but what you didn't mention is just last week they got their ass kicked by Florida, 38-6.
Well,
and then they come back, and then they come back and put up almost 70 points against Tennessee.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it just back to who is everybody this season? So Kentucky 6-5. Now Tennessee's 9-2, South Carolina 7-4, LSU 9-2, Alabama 9-2, and then you got Ole Miss 8-3, Arkansas 6-5, Mississippi State 7-4, A&M 4-7, Florida 6-5, Vandy 5-6, Auburn 5-6, Missouri 5-6.
Right.
And it's one of those I can't even remember who beat who sometimes. I have to go look at each individual team because it doesn't make sense.
And this is why, though, we always talk about, right? You know, people are like, oh, well, you know, this team from the Pac-12 went 11-0, but, you know, a 10-1 SEC school got picked over them. It's because every fucking week these guys are beating the shit out of each other. You know, a loss in the SEC carries more weight sometimes than a win in the Pac-10, I think.
Right.
I mean, and to that point, like I thought Ole Miss would have confidence based on how it played Alabama to carry that, like that's their new baseline. And it just didn't happen.
If you look at it, if I'm an SEC team, I might be looking at it going, maybe it's time to switch conferences. You know, I mean, Tennessee had their ticket written to the playoffs.
Yep.
You beat South Carolina, easy win. You beat Vanderbilt, easy win. You're in. That's it. There was nothing else that had to happen. And you go out and get shit stomped by South Carolina. And quite frankly, I think that Tennessee Vanderbilt game next week could be a little bit, you know, closer than people might think now.
It could be because Tennessee's going into Vandy. Very possible.
So, you know, I think it just speaks to the strength of the entire conference, and that you can have some of these really good teams that are 8-3, but could, you know, beat teams from any other conference.
Right. Absolutely. So there we go. Kudos to South Carolina for really laying it on Tennessee, giving them their second loss. You know, obviously, I think this effectively takes Tennessee out of any bowl game scenario now.
Or any playoff championship.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry. Playoff. I apologize. So it's, you know, just a few weeks ago, it was like you had LSU creeping up. You still had Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia all in the mix. You had LSU slowly, quietly climbing. And now Alabama and Tennessee are out of the conversation. LSU's there. Sell. I know. And so it's like, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to be putting all of our hopes on Georgia, as much as that pains me to do. Yeah. Going to have to do it.
It doesn't pain me because you know what? I have no problems being an SEC homer for the exact same reason we were talking about here in this. We constantly beat each other up week in and week out, pretty much. And these other conferences don't have that. I mean, the level of talent and the depth of talent in the SEC is unparalleled by far. And so when an SEC team makes it that far, that's who I'm fucking rooting for. The rest of these conferences could go eat a bag of fucking, consume
Richards.
A bag of Richards? A satchel of Richards? Yeah.
When was the last time there were not two SEC teams in the playoffs?
It's been a minute.
I was going to say, I mean, it's been a hot minute since that hasn't happened. And it could happen this year. Because you figure either Ohio State or Michigan's going to get the nod, depending on who wins next week. I don't know. Is Oregon back in the picture?
Oregon's definitely not. They after that loss to Washington.
Okay.
Now they did just beat Utah, but it's going to be USC most likely.
Maybe there's no ACC team now that I think could make a claim for.
Clemson still only has one loss.
It's sitting on the bubble.
We're hoping two after next week.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not over yet. I don't know. I mean,
that's all Big Daddy Haas wants for his birthday is a fucking Clemson beatdown. That's all he wants.
We'll do it. We'll find out next week when we record after next week.
Tiger suit and beat you up. Okay, how's that?
We'll find out. But let's go ahead and we got to keep this train rolling. Yeah. Week 12 is behind us. There we go. So you can see our picks 7 across the board, except for me. I take the Arkansas win over Ole Miss. So we're looking at 8 for me. Haas, you and I now going into the last week are tied 82 wins apiece with Grinch at 81 and Mac bringing up the bottom at 76.
Just keeping the bananas. I'm just trying to save you guys postage. That's all. I'm trying to do something. Taking one for the team.
Now, of course, I don't know if you know this, Coastal Carolina, Virginia, that game was canceled. So there is no score on that game. Yeah. Okay. So that one obviously null and void doesn't matter. So I am still out in the lead there.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that Coastal Carolina would have won that, though. So I think we can just go ahead and mark that down as a win for everybody.
So I'm in the lead there, Haas, over you. So I will pick first today. You will pick second, then Grinch, then Mac will round us out. So let's go ahead and jump into the last week. And I want to make sure all of our listeners at home know this is the first time in 3 years Grinch has not been leading going into the final week of the season. So do we dethrone him? Is this the year?
Welcome down here to the bottom.
Is this the year cozy. He does not three-peat? We can hope. All right, so I will go first, and we'll just go through our games. Let me go ahead and just cue these up. All right. So we have on the 24th, Miss State at Ole Miss. That's a tough call because Ole Miss, they've been struggling. Miss State's been looking pretty good. I think I'm going to go Miss State here. Now, again, still have my wild card. Still got my wild card I can play. Haas, you don't. You are the only one of the other three that don't have it. So if you guys would like to use it, you're getting to that point. So I'm going to go Miss State. Auburn, Alabama. I'm going to go Alabama. Florida over Florida State. Florida at Florida State. I'm going Florida State.
Coach Cadillac's got them dialed in.
Georgia Tech, Georgia. I'm going to go Georgia. Kentucky over Louisville. I'm going to go Arkansas over Missouri. I'm going to go Clemson over South Carolina. LSU over Texas A&M. And I'm sorry, Vandy, I'm not sure you get that done. So I'm going to go Tennessee over Vanderbilt. So Miss State, Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Clemson, LSU, and Tennessee. My picks are locked in. And now we move to Haas. And if he is not back, he forfeits the entire week.
I'll make his picks for him.
Yeah, I'm sitting here.
Oh, I apologize. So you just turned off your camera?
No, I don't know why I did that.
Okay. Then since I couldn't see you, I didn't know you were there. All right, let's jump to you, brother. Miss State, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Alabama, Auburn.
Alabama.
Florida, Florida State.
Come back to that one.
Georgia, Georgia Tech.
Georgia.
Kentucky, Louisville.
Kentucky.
Arkansas, Missouri.
Arkansas.
Clemson, South Carolina.
Come back to that one.
Texas A&M, LSU.
LSU.
And Tennessee.
This is going to be the one where out of nowhere A&M just shows up and like
Mac's going to go
70.
This is going to be the week Mac goes different on everything and he gets them all right.
And takes the lead.
Yes. All right. So we got to come back to a few of these. Florida State.
Where's it being played? In
Florida State.
Yeah. Florida State.
Campbell.
Yes, sir.
I'll go Florida State. Yep.
Florida State. And then we're coming back to Arkansas, Missouri. Did you say?
I said Arkansas.
Oh, I'm sorry. South Carolina, Clemson. Yeah. I apologize.
Yeah, and another one was Kentucky, Louisville, but I'm gonna go Kentucky. I really want to go South Carolina here, but it's in Clemson. Fuck, Clemson. God damn it.
Oh, okay.
I remember getting yelled at last year over this pick.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Clemson, LSU, Tennessee.
I think the Ole Miss one. I think that's where I can take you.
Okay.
Yep.
Grinch, we roll to you, brother. Miss State, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Auburn, Alabama.
Alabama.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Georgia Tech, Georgia.
Georgia.
Kentucky, Louisville.
Louisville.
Arkansas, Missouri.
Missouri.
South Carolina, Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson.
LSU, Texas.
I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
I mean, I want it to be a good story. I do. It's just statistically, it doesn't lean that way. And I mean, same with LSU A&M. Like, obviously, the layup is LSU because A&M is just fucking awful.
Is that what you're saying, LSU?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tennessee, Vanderbilt.
Tennessee.
And then, Grinch, did you say Louisville over Kentucky?
I said Louisville.
Did you?
I said Louisville.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He did. Yeah.
Good catch. I've probably been hosed before. I just didn't realize it.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I mean, he had to go off because his Ole Miss pick here doesn't put him ahead of you.
No.
And he's got to get ahead of both of us. So he's got to go off picks on both of us, which is us splitting the difference here puts him in a precarious situation because it forces him to go elsewhere to find other wins.
Yeah,
I like it, Haas. It worked.
I know. Well,
He's like,
that's
fuck
why
you guys.
That's why I mentioned the choices I made, because I was like, I only need one to get past you. I can't get greedy. Just right. I only need one.
But you force him to make off picks on others. All right.
It's not like it's not plausible. I mean, look, I mean, the Louisville, Kentucky, I thought for sure. I mean, I think the Florida State. I mean, really, you guys really don't think Florida could beat Florida State?
Not the way they've been playing. Florida State, I mean, they've actually done well this season. So,
nobody thought
they're playing. Yeah, I mean, remember they opened with a win over LSU.
Fair enough.
All right, Mac, let's jump to you, brother. Miss State, Ole Miss.
You just put protest under all of my picks.
The rest of us are playing, so it doesn't matter what you do at this point.
It doesn't, you're right. It doesn't matter what I do at this point. I think if I went off and everything fell out, I might be able to catch Grinch. So I'm going to go, let's see, Ole Miss, Miss State. I'm going to go Miss State. What are you doing? You're all over the place. I can't figure out where I'm at.
I'm helping you out.
Are you?
There you go, brother. That's your lineup.
Hold on. Let's go down it and see.
Okay, so Ole Miss, Miss State. You're going Miss State.
I'm going to take Miss State.
Alabama, Auburn.
I'm going to take Auburn.
Okay, Florida, Florida State.
You've got me down for Florida. I don't think I can make that pick. I'm going to go Florida State.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
it
6.
It doesn't matter. I'm not an idiot, though.
If you, I'm just saying, 6 ties you for the lead.
We had this discussion last year. Why are you picking for the man?
I'm just saying.
He said what he said.
He did said what he said. I apologize. Just trying to shit.
Leave me for Florida. That's fine. I'll take Florida there.
At this point, what have you got to lose?
Exactly.
That's why I'm like, fuck it.
I will not take Georgia Tech over Georgia. That's not
no.
Yeah. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Didn't you say they just beat somebody?
They just beat UNC.
And what were they ranked?
Are you going to tell me
UNC's only got 2 losses? They're 9-2.
Okay. Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, NC State and UNC lost.
I got to go off of Grinch.
Which means you need Kentucky.
I need Kentucky, so I'll take Kentucky.
Arkansas, Missouri.
I'm going to take Arkansas.
Clemson, South Carolina.
I'm taking South Carolina.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose.
LSU. No, I honestly think they could win that one.
Oh, we'll find out. Haas will love you if they do.
If it's the same team that showed up this week, right? I mean, they're down.
Yeah, right. But you don't know. That's the problem.
But that is the problem. Yep.
LSU, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Roll the fucking dice. You've been hating on Vandy, bro. This is the one. They can pay dividends right here for you.
And look, here's the problem. If Hendon Hooker is not healthy, I honestly think Vanderbilt does have a chance. But I don't know whether he's going to be healthy or not.
Milton's not a bad backup, though.
I'm not saying he's a bad
backup. He's very athletic.
There's no
big
continuity, right? I mean, they haven't been playing together. They're coming off a beatdown. It's in Nashville.
You know that fucking stadium will be packed. That stadium will be packed after the win against Florida. You know people are going to show up for this. I know it's not a big fucking stadium. It's no fucking Neyland Stadium. I get it.
I'm taking Vanderbilt.
Go for it.
They're going to show me some love this week. I know it.
I feel it.
Because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to lose either way.
All right, so there we go. Picks locked in. Miss State, Auburn, Florida. You're going to go Florida. Georgia, Kentucky, Arkansas, South Carolina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could leapfrog Grinch. You could systematically put him in last place if you win all 8 of those.
Yeah. If.
Hey, brother, I'm pulling for you. I'll pay the postage on the bananas if this happens. Okay, I'll pay for it.
I will drive it to him,
exactly.
Personally.
Here you go.
And insert it.
Like, I'm not answering the door. So there
insert
we go.
Insert it into his possession.
Yes.
All right. Coastal Carolina finishes the season away at James Madison. I'm going Coastal. Haas, you?
I gotta go James Madison, even though it's not going to matter, right?
Because it's not going to matter.
I can't catch you. I needed Virginia to win to bring it to a tie this week.
Grinch?
Yeah, Coastal.
And Mac?
I got to go James Madison to try and, even tie it up, right? So
right. Exactly. Man, you tie it up with Grinch, 8 aside, and you fucking leapfrogging him in the other one.
Oh, Grinchy Grinch, buddy. I got a big hug for you, homie.
Grinch, like, ain't shit happened yet.
He does not look too concerned.
I think it's going to be
okay.
If Miss State wins that first game, he's going to be going, If Auburn wins the next game, he's going to go, He's
going to start playing a wild card.
Right. We get down the road a little bit. He's going to be like, uh-oh. Exactly. Florida beats Florida State. Then the hairs are going to stand up. He's going to be like, wait a minute. I don't know the times of some of these games. I wish I did. Because like if Vandy's an early one and Vandy wins,
the dates.
Vandy's
I don't give a fuck about the dates. The dates are going to be prior to when we record next. That's all that matters. That's all I care about.
Vandy is at 7:30.
Oh, so it's a night game. Okay.
Yep.
Clemson, South Carolina wins that. Is that a night game?
That's 12 o'clock.
So.
See, if South Carolina beats Clemson at noon, there you go.
Things get interesting.
Things get interesting. What's the line on Clemson, South Carolina, Haas?
I haven't looked, but
you didn't look. Okay, no,
it's got to be at least 14 points.
What was the line on fucking?
It actually is 14.
What was South Carolina, Tennessee? I guarantee you it was more than that.
Yeah.
They were favored by 3 touchdowns, I think.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, there it is. We have come to the end. Week 13 is in the books. No going back now. Again, except for Grinch and Mac. You both do get a wild card. I get a wild card. Haas, unfortunately, has to sit back and just let this play out and see what happens. May the gods be smiling on you or me or Mac. We love you, Grinch. Just can't have it.
Here's the good news.
Your ego can't fit in this Zoom call. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Week 13 is in the books, or week 12 is in the books. Week 13 is fast approaching. So let's get ready for the last week of SEC football. Then we will move to the championship games and the bowl games after that. As always, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all being here. Your hot takes, your perspective, and your approach to SEC football here in the South. Go South Carolina, go Vanderbilt. Looking for both of you to win next week.
Anchors down.
It won't affect me and my standing with my race against Haas and Grinch. So let's go for it. As always, for all of our listeners, you can hit us up anywhere. SpiritedDebate.com, our email at 4horsemen@spiritedDebate.com. That's our parent show. Let us know how you feel about SEC football. Maybe you've got an outlier out there, because as this season winds down next year, we're going to need another out of conference team to support. Coastal Carolina was this year. Eastern Tennessee State was last year. We're going to need one. So if somebody's got one, drop us a line, throw it out there, and we'll see about following them. Gentlemen, as always, I love doing this week in and week out with you, and we will do this again next week.